All right, well, welcome everybody to another Justin's Journey blog video. And I did the video recently for Sleevers and answered a couple of questions that people have had about the weight loss surgery process and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to take a minute to answer some questions that I get either on my blog or through email, and also ones that I read on various forums or Facebook groups or things like that. So I want to take a minute to ask the question and then I'll give you my answer. The first question comes from Love on Facebook, and she asks, how soon after being sleeved did you start working out? I'm ready to get back into the gym, but it's only been 4 days. So, Love, my workout routine was a little bit different in the fact that I started walking laps immediately after surgery. As soon as I felt up to it, I was up moving around. I walked laps around the hospital floor several times that day. I was out of the hospital within about 24 hours, and then I went home. That first week or so after surgery, I took it really slow, just walking to the end of the driveway, things like that. It wasn't until probably 2-3 weeks out that I actually started venturing out and walking behind my house a little bit in the neighborhood, that kind of thing. But even then, I didn't push it. You have to listen to your body, and you have to listen to, what's going on with your incisions and all that kind of stuff. So if that's fully healed up and your doctor says you're okay to go back to the gym or to walk or run outside or whatever you want to do, then if you're okay, I would do it. But again, listen to your doctor on that. Trust what he says or what she says, because they're the people that are monitoring you and making sure that you're healthy enough to do this physical activity and all that good stuff. So, just check with them first and then ease your way into it. Don't try to go out and run a marathon or anything like that, or go to an exercise class or lift big weights or anything like that. Just go real slow. Start off with walking, work your way up. I started off just walking, like I said, to the end of the driveway and back, and now I run 5Ks. So, it took a while to get there, but I did get there eventually. So, hope that answers your question. And if you have anything else that you would like to ask me or ask anyone else, that I can help share your question with the world, feel free to drop me a line, Facebook or email or Twitter or whatever. All right, here's another one. It wanted to know, I am 6 months away from my vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery. She's pre-op. And what kind of advice would you give me about what I should be eating now? So she's basically in preparation for the vertical sleeve. She's going to have it in about 6 months. My recommendation here would be to start going as much as you can to a high protein, low carb diet. You're going to have to do this after surgery anyway, but easing that transition is going to be, a key factor going forward. You don't want to eat whatever you want up until the pre-op phase and then all of a sudden be cut off from everything that you know and love. You're making a lifestyle change, and so making sure that you ease into that is the best way to go. Learn to live without some of this bad stuff that's been plaguing your life for so long, and ease into the good stuff that you're going to continue to eat for the remainder of your life. So the first thing I did, I cut out stuff like sodas and caffeine and things like that, because you're not going to be able to have that for a while after you've had surgery. And even during the pre-op phase, you're not going to be able to have a lot of that stuff either. And so, I cut out Diet Coke. I was a huge Diet Coke person. Cut out, anything that was coffee or anything caffeine, things like that. I cut that all out. I cut out sugars and all the unnecessary things, no more cookies and cakes and stuff like that. And then I started eating a little bit more high protein. High protein stuff is meat, eggs, cheese, things like that. So try to incorporate a little bit more of that stuff into your diet. You want to go with lean meat though. You don't want to try the fatty meats. So, not a lot of steak or anything like that. Try some chicken, some boneless, skinless chicken breast. Fish is really good, things like that. So if you can eat that kind of stuff, do that. When you get to the pre-op diet phase, you're going to be, really happy that you've built up this strength with the high protein diet, because that pre-op phase is so hard to do because you don't get hardly anything, or at least I didn't. It was like water and jello and chicken broth and stuff like that to shrink your liver. And chances are, if you start preparing for the pre-op diet now and ease into this transition like I'm talking about, you may not have a big fatty liver like I did when you roll in there, and so maybe they won't put you on the pre-op diet as long. I don't know that for a fact, but the fact of the matter is, the more you can do to shrink your liver so they can retract that up during surgery, the better, because you don't want them to have any problems retracting your liver or dealing with your liver. All right. Here's a really long comment that was posted recently on my blog, and I really liked it, and I want to show it or talk to you about it here on the show. And so it says, "Hi Justin, no offense, but I've never heard of you until recently." That's fine, not very many people have. "But I was watching your videos on Creative Live about WordPress, and you mentioned something about this site and your weight loss journey, and I had to check it out. I have one thing, well maybe not just one thing, but the main thing is, wow, congratulations." Well, thank you very much. I mean, just seeing the first video you posted to seeing the most recent one is just amazing. Even though I don't know you personally, I would like to say I'm proud of you for not only accomplishing this, but also being brave enough to post it all. My youngest sister is overweight, and so is my stepdad, and it's just heartbreaking. My youngest sister just turned 17 last month and weighs roughly 250 pounds, and it saddens me. I try to help her because I can tell how depressed she is, but it's really hard when she doesn't want to do anything besides sit at her computer. I know exactly what you mean. I sit at my computer all the time. We got her into doing color guard for our high school's marching band, which is a start, but I think we should be doing more. Do you have any suggestions as to how I can help not only my little sister, but my whole family as well? Again, congrats, Holly. So Holly, first of all, thank you for the comment on my blog, and thank you for sharing your story with me as well. The main thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find a way to become active, or she's going to have to find a way to become active. But what you have to understand, Holly, is nobody that has a weight problem is going to do anything about it until they're ready to. You can't force people to do anything that they don't want to do. For the longest time, my mom was on me about eating better and exercising and all this stuff, telling me I was going to have diabetes and high cholesterol. But you know what? I was like 20 years old and bulletproof, and I didn't care about it until I went to the doctor, and the doctor actually said, you know, Justin, you have diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, you have bad circulation in your feet, you have all these problems. And that was the kick in the teeth that I needed to get off of my butt and start actually doing some things. So if she's not ready, she's not going to do it. But if you want to try to do things, I would suggest trying to do things as a group. Most of the time people respond more to doing things as a group as opposed to doing things on their own. So suggest little things like, hey, let's go here and, just walk, or let's, do little activities, play games, make it fun, things like that. Don't look at it as working out. Find ways to be active together without actually thinking of it as a workout. I would also suggest getting something to keep her accountable for it. A device like a Nike Fuel Band or a pedometer or something like that, so that she can track, how active she is during the day. If you can show her how inactive she is during the day, maybe she'll want to be more active during the day. I'm not saying that's going to work. I'm just trying to give you some advice on what works for me. Like if I see a graph of my activity and there's a big flat line in it, I'm not happy with that. So I try to go out and make, some spikes happen. And so little things like that will go a long way. But again, if she's not ready, she's not going to want to do it. So you have to give her her space, and you have to let her realize that she has a problem first. And if she does and she wants to change it, she will, and she'll be very successful at it. So again, thanks Holly for the email. Really appreciate it. All right. The next couple of questions come from my friend Bryce, who I met via Twitter. And Bryce actually had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery a few months ago. He's really kicking some serious butt. He's lost over 100 pounds already. Really proud of him. And these are some questions that he had before he had surgery that he sent to me via email. And I wanted to share some of those and give you my answers. So I see these all the time on weight loss surgery blogs and forums and on the Facebook group that I'm a part of. And so I wanted to take a minute to answer some of these to hopefully give you a better idea of the life that you're going to be experiencing once you go through with this. So the first question is, how much pain were you in post-op? So I'm a little bit of an unusual case, I think. I was not in very much pain at all post-op. Now, granted, in the hospital, they've got you all doped up on drugs and stuff like that, so you don't really feel anything. But once the needle comes out, the pain starts to come in. And the worst part of it was the first day home after surgery. I was really sore, and I had some problems that night with being sore, laying in my own bed for the first time, things like that. And so after that, though, it was relatively low pain. I managed it all with over-the-counter stuff, Advil, Tylenol, etc. You will have to cut those up and take them in small pieces because you won't be able to swallow a large amount of water to take those big pills. But, get yourself a pill cutter. You can get those at, Walgreens or CVS or whatever, and you can cut those and do whatever you need to do. The doctors will probably give you some sort of pain medication. They gave me a liquid painkiller, which I didn't use. I didn't need it. And, I use the pain almost as like a motivating factor. Like, You know, you've put your body through this. I want to feel every bit of it so I know that this is the reason why I did this. You know, I put myself through this pain so that I could become healthy again. And, you know, that's sort of a martyr-like approach, I guess, but it really worked for me. And if the pain was too unbearable, I would have, obviously taken something, but I wasn't in a whole lot of pain. Some people experience not a lot of pain. I've known people that, I've talked to them, they went back to work, a week or two after they had the surgery. So it just depends. Everybody's different. That's the one thing I've learned about the sleeve, is everybody's experience is different. Second question, how difficult was the transition after surgery? Limitations, dumping syndrome, etc. The transition after surgery was really tough mentally, not physically. Physically, the transition was pretty easy because you eat something or you drink something and you feel that full feeling, where you're just like, oh man, I can't eat anything else. And you stop. That's it. You listen to your body and the physical part of it takes care of itself. But the mental aspect of it is very, very difficult. The first couple of months after surgery, I was trying to hang out with friends, trying to lead a normal life and things like that. But going out to restaurants was almost impossible. There was nothing I could eat there, so I'd had to bring my own food with me. My friends enjoyed the party-like lifestyle a little bit, and so I'm unable to drink, unable to do anything like that, so I just kind of sat on the sidelines and did that. But you find a way. Now I consider my life to be pretty much normal. I'm a year and 5 months out, and I lead a normal life. I can go out to dinner with friends, I can go out and do whatever I want to do. But those first few months, learning how to live this new way is very, very tough. So that's why I say the pre-op phase is the most important phase, because you are going to be learning as much as you can and preparing yourself mentally as best you can for this new lifestyle. So get in there, get some support from support groups, talk to people like me who have been there, see what works for us. Maybe some of it will work for you. But yeah, the transition is more mentally than physically. As far as limitations, the limitations that I had weren't too big. I mean, of course, food limitations. I couldn't eat certain things. Certain things still don't agree with me very well. Greasy food does not go down well. Sometimes steak doesn't go down that well if it's real, thick steak or something like that. My suggestion is, if you find something that you don't tolerate well, first of all, try taking it in smaller bites. Take really tiny bites and then just try to enjoy each bite individually, really small bites, and enjoy each one, savor every single ounce of it. Also, if you find something that doesn't agree with you, don't eat it. There are a few things that I still, to this day, cannot eat because it causes some sort of reaction in me, and I just don't eat those kind of foods. I'll venture back and try things that I tried a long time ago that didn't work then. I'll try them again just to see if I handle it well. If I don't handle it well the second time, I don't do it anymore. Bryce is asking about dumping syndrome. I don't think dumping is necessarily a big problem with sleevers. More so, it's more so in the gastric bypass realm. So I don't have any problem with that. I can eat whatever I want. Nothing, I don't have the dumping syndrome or anything. Some people may. I don't know. I think it's rather limited in sleeve patients. The one thing that I do have a problem with is acid reflux. I had that before I had surgery, and I've still got it after. I take acid reducers, Protonics, every single day to keep that down. I think that, almost my stomach, being smaller, but it still produces the same amount of acid. Maybe that has something to do with it. I'm not a medical professional, so I don't know. But I will say that I have read some things online that say that, sleeve patients tend to have a little bit more trouble with acid reflux, or GERD, as it is called, from time to time. They have that problem. So, Tums, chewable Tums works that out real easy. Taking the Protonics will take care of that as well. The other thing that I had a problem with was gas. I still have a problem with that. If I eat too fast or if I eat too much, I tend to get a little bloated and gassy, and that hurts. If you have the sleeve done, gas hurts you. That's why you don't drink carbonated drinks anymore, because the gas from the carbonation would just blow you up like a balloon. You would be in a lot of pain. So, step number 1 to get rid of the gas, that's going to be Gas-X strips or chewable tablets. I prefer the chewable tablets. I think they taste better than the strips. The strips are like minty and I don't really like them. But the Gas-X chewable tablets, when you get to a point where you can chew those up and dissolve them in your mouth, get some of those. I have my wife carry them in her purse. I have some at my desk. I have some with me all the time. So if I run into a gas issue, I can, take care of it pretty easy. And if you chew 2 of those, you're good to go. Gas just melts away. It's awesome. Bryce also wanted to know, how fast was I losing weight initially, and do I have a problem with loose skin? I dropped weight pretty quick. I've lost, well over 150 pounds since surgery, and I had surgery just a little over a year ago. I've flatlined out on weight loss. I'm not losing any more weight, so now I'm focusing on maintaining what I've lost thus far. But there for a while, I was dropping, 5, 10 pounds, maybe a week, and it was really falling off. I do have some problem areas. My chest and my stomach are a little bit looser than I would like. My arms, I'll show you here on my arm. Let me show you this. So I've got a little bit of skin issue here, which, I could do without that, but it's not so bad. Most of the body, my legs, my back, everything else, that pretty much kind of shaped up and went back to a normal state. But you got to remember, man, I came from 430 something pounds. So I had a lot of stretchy skin that needed to, suck back in. That just didn't happen. So depending on how big you are and how much elasticity is still left in your skin, your results will vary. I have some loose areas on me, but I also have some areas that went back to normal. So it just depends on, everybody's different. Again, it's one of those scenarios. Everybody's different. And then finally, Bryce's question is, how difficult is it to maintain? How difficult is it to maintain the weight loss? It's a constant battle, actually. There'll be days when my weight goes up or my weight goes down or whatever, and I've determined that as long as I stay within a healthy range, or a range that I'm comfortable with, I cannot sweat it when my weight goes up. Because weight is going to change every single day. I made a statement a long time ago that, weight can fluctuate, determination cannot. And so I'm determined not to regain this weight. I'm determined to remain healthy for the rest of my life. I'm determined to keep my health problems off the table. I really want to stay in the same shape that I am now. So I'm not going to worry if the scale goes up 1 or 2 pounds. Matter of fact, sometimes it fluctuates. When I went on vacation, it went up like 5 or 6, but it came right back down. And so I stay in a 185 to 190-ish range most of the time. If it goes a little bit over 190, I'm okay. If it goes a little bit under that, I'm fine. I've decided that, if I start encroaching on 200 pounds again, my big thing is never to weigh over 200 pounds again. So if I start encroaching that, then what I'll do is I'll just revert back to some of my old diet tactics where I go really high protein, really low carb, and I'll eat, smaller meals throughout the day with protein bars or shakes or whatever, and do that accompanied with some really hard exercise, and that usually takes care of it. If you find yourself in a plateau, and I know a lot of people, post about this, plateaus mean that you have basically hit a roadblock with your weight loss where, you're losing all of a sudden and then boom, it just stopped. So what you can do to get through plateaus is, number one, change up your exercise routine. Most of us get comfortable doing one thing. For the longest time, I was an elliptical guy. I just did the elliptical nonstop. And my weight loss sort of slowed down. So I changed it up. I started running, started doing other things, and the weight started dropping off again. When I started walking and my weight stopped, I started running and it came back off. So alter it up, work different areas of your body on different days, do different workouts on different days, keep your body constantly guessing as to what you're going to do to it, and the weight will continue to fall off. Also, once you get to a point where you're eating a little bit more normal, try changing up your eating routine. It was suggested to me by my dietitian that I increase my intake a little bit, and that's going to scare you at first, but don't be scared. There for a while I was only eating around 1,000 calories a day, and they told me, they're like, okay, in order for you to start burning fat again, you need to bump it up to like 1,600, 1,800 calories a day. That scared me a little bit because I didn't know where I was going to find the extra calories, but you can. It's just little things, eating little snack here and there, a little piece of cheese or a little, bite of something throughout the day. Those are calories that you can then burn and turn fat into, nothing, melted away. So there are all kinds of ways you can do it. Consult with your dietitian, consult with your surgeon and your doctor to see what's right for you. I don't pretend to be a dietitian or a doctor, so I'm not going to, give you a magic formula there. But maintenance, once you get, past a year out, maintenance is the key. And maintenance is difficult. It's a daily struggle, and I'll fight it, for the rest of my life probably. But it's a fight that I'm willing to take on because I'm really happy with the results that I've had, and I look and feel better than I ever have before. So, all right. So that pretty much wraps up my Q&A session here today. If you have any more questions, you can shoot me an email via my website, justinseeley.com, or you can post them on the Facebook group that I'm a part of for vertical sleeve patients. Find me on verticalsleevetalk.com. You can also send me a message via Twitter. I'm at Justin Seeley. I really want to continue to help people and educate you on the different things that happen during the weight loss surgery process. So please, please reach out to me if you have any questions. If you don't want me to read it on air, that's fine. I won't. I'll just answer it via email, and we'll go from there. So thanks everybody for watching this. I hope I've answered some of your questions. And remember to always believe, because nothing is ever impossible.